off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, CNBC News, NBC Sports, and CNBC News as well. Streaming everywhere on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, GeoSan, Podchaser, and more. And AM 1050, FM 106.5 on your drive time to work or wherever you're going. It is the home of Asian Oprah, and it is a very special day today. This is the day that marks my I'm weightlifting. Marks my 11-year anniversary doing this show, and I invited my lovely, beautiful co-hosts, and there's a handsome one who lost the bet for who was going to come into the studio first. Sam. But anyways, it is my 11th year anniversary, and thank you to my co-hosts for coming and celebrating and roasting me. Let me see it. There we go. That's what I was.
I have my cup ready to toast.
There you go. Oh yeah, we got to learn. I just learned how to do this. So let's see if we can do
this way.
So you got
this
one?
Way.
Do you have one?
Yeah, this way. Ready.
Okay.
Go. Toast.
Thank you so much. And you'll see the one with the coffee cup is Friday. Tempting Conversations with Elan Carter, the daughter of Otis Williams, founder of Temptation, still performing at age 81. Amazing. And she and I have a lot of fun on Fridays. And then to her side, left, right, is Beth Linder-Moss. I think this is the first time you're meeting each other.
Yes. So nice to meet you, Beth. How are you?
Good morning. My Tuesday co-host. She is my in-house fitness expert. And Elan just lost her. Yeah. Elan just lost her coach moving back to Florida or something. So she and
you too. He's driving right now as we speak. He's on the road on this road trip. I'm so bummed. Yeah.
So Beth is she's certified fitness, health and wellness, all of that. She's on the East Coast. And so we talk about all kinds of things about health and wellness. And tomorrow's topic is to scale or not to scale, the bathroom scale.
It's bad.
So
and then I eat one thing, I'm back on the scale. I'm like, oh my God, I gained a pound.
So maybe maybe if you want to get up 3 times early this week, you can join us tomorrow, Elan. But we'll have to do another cross-pollination here. But I'm so delighted to have you both come celebrate. I am, 500 and I think it's 37 consecutive weeks. I meant to 74. Wow, I underestimated. And what's really weird is that I missed the 10th year celebration like many people during COVID. I don't know if I forgot but the last thing I remember celebrating was 9. And then now it's 11. So I don't know what happened to 10.
You probably were busy on somebody else's show.
Probably. But May 1st, 2012 was my very first show on the air, actually no camera at that time. And I started with, Global Voice Network with Tony Sweet. And peace in, peace out to Tony. I will tell the story after we do our gratitude sandwich, because I introduced that in my 11th year and a 10th year, and want to continue that. So I am grateful for the fact that I have not stopped and continued for 11 years. And as many times as I did, go on hiatus for a brief, I was traveling with the book when the book went #1. And I was in Philippines and China, and I just couldn't do that broadcasting, but it was only like 6 months. And then I was stayed on the air, but I played like older shows. So I didn't count those though. So I'm still on 900. You're on show number 930.
Wow.
So I've done 930 shows.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Woo.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody yesterday asked me, does it feel like 930 shows? And sometimes it does.
Depending on the guest, right?
Yeah. Depending on the co-host. No, just
the co-host too. Then sometimes you're going to have that shock value from me and Sam that'll wake you up again and give you a recharge.
Yes. We sometimes get into naughty topics, Beth. We rarely do, but you were on Sam's shows, so you know that, right?
Yeah. Sam. It's Sam. That's why we have to get him on. He's the instigator.
Well,
we're going to talk about him since he's not
he was
here.
the first one who said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And where is he? Polly, can you text him and just get him out of bed? So, Beth, what are you grateful for? And I know you have to leave.
I'm just hopping on for a minute, but I wanted to come on and congratulate you. So I am grateful for you as an inspiration to me to know that never give up. That's really what it is. So I'm very grateful for you for inspiring me. So thank you.
Thank you. Shit. Elan?
I am grateful that I made it here this morning on time because I got no sleep last night. So I'm honored to be on the show and grateful that I got here because I can't disappoint her for this episode.
I am grateful that I have amazing co-hosts that really have made switching from a weekly show, which basically was for 9 years or 8 years. I was on a weekly show. And then during COVID, my big boss, the owner of this station who lives in Texas, Fred Lundgren, called me up and said, "Hey, the morning host is retiring. How would you like to take over the slot?" And I went, "Yeah." And thank you. And then it took about a week to sink in that going from 1 a week to 5 a week is not just a little step.
Right.
So I had this brainstorm to invite people who don't have time to do their own shows or, want to brand with me to come on and co-host. And so I was going to hold a competition. I thought, no, I want to actually go and invite people who I think could make my show easier on me as far as topics and all of that. And they would get something out of it. And it's one of the most brilliant decisions I've ever made because it's a lot less work when I have a co-host who is an expert or who can talk or both. And that's been so lovely. So I'm grateful for that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 gratitudes, 1 more each. Beth.
Actually, I'm grateful right now that I haven't met Elan yet. So I'm grateful to be on here to actually have my first introduction. So it's so nice.
We're going to be speaking soon, especially because I need to get back on track. I'm grateful to be here to meet you.
Yes, I'm excited.
It's really exciting. This is going to be an exciting show. I am actually grateful that I got to be a part of this platform because when I met Dr. Marissa, I was in talks with doing my own show. And I had met with the people to set everything up. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is good. This is way too much work for me to start from scratch by myself. And so when she said that, I go, oh my God, I'm like about to do my own show. I'd rather do it with you.
I know, that's it. She's such an inspiration, right?
Yeah, it's exactly that.
And I'm everyone, like, yes.
Yeah, for sure. I am grateful that I hit the gym this morning, even though I was exhausted. Ooh, and got my 40 minutes of cardio and shower. I'm grateful for hot showers. And let's see, I'll finish it off since it's my anniversary. And I'm grateful for all of the support that I've had from listeners, from watchers, from all the guys at KCAA, all the guys that were at Universal Broadcasting Network when I was there. I was there for 8 years. And then all the guys at KCAA, I came in, I think on my second year and did a split broadcast. I did a year on Unity Radio. So I am so grateful I couldn't have done this by myself at all. So I want to thank everyone who supports me, including my co-hosts. And that is it for the top of the bun for gratitude. Now, bottom of the bun, what do you appreciate about yourself? Why is that important? If you can't approve or like yourself, how the fork do you expect anyone else to like you? And that is my formula, my BS, my belief system for fundamental mental health. Good mental health starts with the ability to soothe yourself, the ability to say, quit thinking about that, the ability to say, it doesn't matter what other people think of you. It matters most how you feel about yourself. All of that is tied up into my message of hope and happiness. And that's why we do the breakfast, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So and I'm going to be so bold and egotistical that I'm going to ask you, since it is my 11-year anniversary, and you can do a roast, like it doesn't have to be positive, but what do you appreciate about me? My humility, but it is my 11-year anniversary. So I'm allowing a gift to myself. And Polly, I'm going to let you also chime in. He's my sound engineer, and he's been just such a blessing for my show. And I really wanted to thank him. And also, what do you appreciate about me, Polly? I have him on the phone. Good morning, Cecilia. What do you appreciate about me? It's my 11-year anniversary show. So I am asking I'm fishing for compliments this morning. Polly, can you hear me?
I'm going to start only because, can I start? Because I'm going to jump off.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start because I'm going to jump off. I'm going to start by saying I actually appreciate, obviously, all the positive and everything, but you have a great way of wording things. You are very good at taking a topic to say and then turning it into great, like even when we did like step up into your best life, like I gave you an analogy and you like turned it around, and I tell you what the topic's going to be and you turned it into like this great, like you have a way with words. So that's amazing. So I think that is something that I really love about you. So that is awesome.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much, Beth Linder-Moss, for popping in. She took a minute out of work to celebrate my 11th year anniversary. Tomorrow's topic: to scale or not to scale, to step on the bathroom scale or not to step on the bathroom scale, and why. I know she's going to say check the scale, but that's your. Oh, you're not going to say that? Oh, okay. You're going to have to tune in tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow for more on that. All right. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank you, Beth. All right.
I
Got you with your coffee there. Cecilia is complimenting me here. This is what she appreciates. So this is number 2. Your honesty and real and always here to help people in need. Funny and has a heart of gold. Well, that's like 4, but thank you, Cecilia, for the compliment and appreciation. And I receive and I accept. And I loved, I got to do a little happiness coaching, Elan, with Cecilia like 6 months ago or last year, I think. Yeah. And it was great because she just came on and told me that it helped. And like many people who have, challenging relationships and they're focused on that person, I asked her to take the eyes off of him and look at herself for a minute and all of that. And it worked. And there's nothing better than just planting seeds. I don't come up with the ideas. I do a lot of, speak through me. Don't let me get in the way is how I prepare for coaching and just allow, that energy, that power that's outside of us that creates the worlds. I call him my UPS man, my universal power source that delivers every morning to allow for the words to help. And I'm so grateful for that. So thank you for the recognition of that. And Elan, it's your turn.
Well, I was going to say, I think we all agree the same about how you word things, because what I was going to say when Beth made the comment about how you are honest, right? And not that you don't have a filter, because you do, but it's the way you word it, because you're truthful about things and you make people face reality, but in a good way. It's always with like the Cecilia just said, with a heart of gold, because your intentions are always positive to make us feel better, whoever you're coaching. I know you've done it with me. And, even though I knew some of the answers, because we're very similar, just making me face the reality, you worded it in a way to let me know it's okay. And I think everyone that you coach seems to have the same response, which is very positive, which means that keep doing what you're doing.
Aw, thank you. 谢谢, I receive. That is, I appreciate that I am 88% of the time learning how to allow for compliments. I would take a compliment and like, oh, thank you. And then I would have this voice say, oh, they really don't know you. If they really knew you, they wouldn't say that. Other people have called it the imposter syndrome. You're pretending. And I've worked on that. And especially as an Asian woman, and I'm sure a colorful woman, I call us, who are told, don't walk in front, don't be heard, don't be up front, don't be so visible, be demure, take a back seat. And in my culture, that is like super strong as a Chinese and Japanese. My sister, Keiko Matsui, we both Japanese and Chinese have that saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So super strong. And I'm so appreciative that I've had great teachers, Michael Bernard Beckwith, do not hide your light. Do not stand down. Do not be embarrassed. Do not hide. And one of my shows that were the most memorable shows, Elan, I don't know if I've told you this, I had an astrologer, I believe is her term, is because there's different astrologer, and she came on and did my charts. Mm-hmm. And I told her not to read it ahead of time. I wanted her to read it like real time. And she opened up the paper and she looked at it and went, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And she goes, you're a Leo. And I said, I know I'm a Leo. And she said, No, you're a Leo in 5 planets. And I'm like,
Wow, which
what
is
does
very
that
strong
mean?
and a leader.
Didn't know that. I did. I,
Yeah.
I knew I was Leo, but that's
We
it.
have to have her back on because I'm all into that, right?
Are you okay? Her name's Rachel Lang, and she goes by Rachel Blisson on. She had her own show on the other network that I was on. So she said that means you cannot help but be upfront on camera, first place, overachieving, in the front row, which always gets me in trouble with the choir most recently. And I am, that's who I am. I was like born into that. I wanted
But
that. I was
you
born
have the
into it.
voice. Do you have the voice, not to cut you off, but you have the voice for this platform and you have the voice for the choir? Because if I was in the choir, they would put me in the back. So
Yeah, well, they did try to put me in the back.
If I'm not a Leo, but if I was, that would even matter about me being a Leo. They stick me in the back. So
Right,
you're
right.
in front everywhere you go. That's the blessing.
And I didn't see it as a blessing until that moment. I swear to God, when she said that, when she said, you can't help yourself, I broke down crying because, and I'm going to do it again, because I'm working through something right now where it's not easy to own the light. It's not easy to, like, I make it look easy. People say that all the time, but I get a lot of, I do get a lot of hate sometimes. I do get a lot of, arrows that are directed at me. I do get a lot of that. And all of that weight just lifted that on that show, like decades worth of shame, like I'd finish a show or I'd finish on stage and I would thank people when they complimented me, but in deep down I was like those messages of shame. And to understand that this is just who I am and I have to stop apologizing for it.
Yes, because you are carrying those weights on your shoulder. And, and because like culturally, and just because I have a little bit, and this on a personal level, a little bit experience with Asian culture. We'll leave it at that. Maybe a bit much, but I understand culturally that comes into play. And I think that, not telling you never to identify, because I think you should always be proud of who you are. But I think that's ingrained in you because of your culture, which in my culture is the complete opposite. We're not taught to stand in the background. We're not taught to be quiet. We're taught to be strong no matter what. And as a Black woman, I have to be strong because,
right.
But I also have to be careful how I walk. I have to be careful how I navigate so I don't look like the angry, because if I stand up for myself, I'm projected as the angry Black
yeah.
woman. So we're the opposite of what we're being taught. So I had to learn how to navigate and use my words and choose it carefully so I don't project it that way, even though I am that person when I'm mad. I just, it's like people are angry all the time. But when we have certain beliefs as children, as our family, we come from different cultures, we're taught that we have to do that. And that really depicts us as people as we get older in our relationships. And we have to learn to be us and just be like, just let our light shine and use our gifts instead of trying to fit what we're taught, what we're programmed, what we're trained to be. Right? We're trained to be like this. That's not who we're supposed to be. And you are light. And I think that you just in our discussions, I know that comes into play and you got to release that because that's not who you are. And that's just what you've been taught and what's expected. And that's hindered some of the relationships that I had being involved with someone in your culture, that it was expected for them to do this and be with certain people and walk these shoes instead of choosing the happiness. And now you're learning to choose your happiness. Your happiness comes first. You're making everyone, your co-host, happy. We're all grateful. But you know what? That's because you're happy, because you are the light and we're following you. You continue to do that.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Coffee toast.
Oh yeah, coffee toast.
Here we go. Here we go. Right way. This
there
way.
We go. I got it now.
Yes.
Cecilia loves my laugh. Thank you. She appreciates that, and I appreciate you appreciating my laugh. And big capital letter. She's yelling at me in a loving way.
She has to believe. You just have to keep living your light, because you're making such strides. You've done such phenomenal work, and you make other people happy. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're here on this planet, is to help each other, make everyone. Humanity is supposed to make everybody else happy and work together.
Yeah,
and you are one of the people that do that. We need more people to watch and do that so they can learn something. They can learn from you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to be able to walk through my bathroom door after this.
You want a compliment? I'm giving you a halo. Halo, like a Beyonce song.
Yeah, that's great. Aw, you and Cecilia are just making my day here. And we got a finger, actually. Somebody gave us the finger. This one.
Good this finger.
One. That one. No, don't worry, not the other one.
Okay.
And I'm just like posting the link so that people. I just got a message saying they didn't get the link. So
what happened, Sam? Sam didn't get the link.
I know. I texted. I'm sure he slept in. He slept in. He's not going to live this one down.
We can still hop on. We could give him a hard time.
I'll call him. I actually have to play a sponsor interview. Verizon sponsoring my 11-year anniversary show. So while I'm playing that, you can go get more coffee. I'm going to get on the phone and yell at Sam. And we'll be right back. You're tuned in right now to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and thanks to technology in my 11th year, hashtag COVID silver lining, I get to broadcast live from my living room and also on LinkedIn, Facebook, but central is YouTube. So if you haven't free subscribed there, please do. And you can access not just my 930 shows, but also my playlist with fabulous interviews, Priscilla Presley, Halle Berry, John Travolta, all kinds of The Temptations and Elan's dad, Otis Williams, and the rest of the Temptations. All of that and more on my free subscribe YouTube channel. So that's where you're going to go. And I am now going to give you my interview, Small Business Week with Verizon. Enjoy.
May, Small Business Week is recognized to honor the many contributions of entrepreneurs. Joining us today is financial and tech expert Aparna Kurjukar of Verizon, here to discuss a unique event that complements the celebration of Small Business Week. It's called the Verizon Small Business Days, a celebration of small business with exclusive promos and the chance to book a free tech check with a Verizon small business expert to analyze the needs of businesses and show them solutions that can be a catalyst for survival and success in a challenging economy. Please welcome to my studio, Aparna. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. We're going to just jump right in and ask you some questions. First, what are some of the basics that small businesses need to succeed?
The answer to that is really, really simple. Technology is the best friend for a small business. Bring your value, bring what you're doing in the local community, and let technology help you as a friend to succeed, thrive, survive, and differentiate.
Great. And how can technology specifically help small businesses grow?
Yeah, so technology needs to be deconstructed into, let's call it the 4 C's. Connectivity, make sure you've got the right kinds of connections. Cybersecurity, very, very important, right, in today's day and age. And then collaboration, which is where you need to make sure everyone can connect with you whenever, wherever, talk to you, do video conferencing and calls, and cloud solutions that can help you automate and be there for your customer where they need you. These 4 things are all available under one hood with Verizon, and we're here to showcase that during the Small Business Days, available all 365 days of the year. But during Small Business Days, we want to make it about small businesses and want to make sure they're aware of everything that we have for the small businesses to succeed in the marketplace today.
That totally makes sense, and that's great. What's the overall outlook for small businesses in 2023, especially coming out of this unplanned for thing called the pandemic?
Definitely quite some level of uncertainty, definitely quite some level of concern around just the financial macroeconomic environment. So there's a little bit of the tightening of the belt, a little bit of small businesses, especially needing to start pulling from their cash reserves. That's happening. Almost a third of them saying they needed to do that. But all of this is with the backdrop of an optimism of, especially for those who have already started adopting technology, feeling like they're better off today than where they were a year ago, and then will be much better in another year because they're on that technology curve and building, and they're using that to be improving on their cost structure and getting to their customers the right way and keeping up, and in many cases differentiating from the larger size companies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How important is it for companies to maximize their tech capabilities?
Yeah, technologies can drive all elements for the small business, right? In every way, from how they reach out to their customers to where it is that they are conducting their work from anywhere, especially in this hybrid environment for employees, right? And making sure that they are not just thinking of technology as an important element, it's an imperative to be succeeding. So it is critical that you get started, and it is critical that you keep building.
Yes, yes. Now, where can we go to get more information? Because this is really great information for small businesses. It is free, as I understand, available to them for their understanding and for their help. Where can we send our small businesses?
Yes, so it's absolutely free. We've got our tech experts who can come in and help support any and all of your needs. And it is also open to any small, medium business. It doesn't have to be a Verizon customer, although we'd love for you all to be experiencing the best network there is. Get to verizon.com/business. All the information is there right at your fingertips. You can sign up for a tech check. And you can also be looking at our business ready platform with a lot of resources for small businesses.
Wonderful. And you heard it here. This is Dr. Marissa with Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with me. Balancing out all the bad news out there with some good news and free resources from Verizon. Thank you so much, Aparna, for coming on and sharing all of this with us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marissa.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and more. And at Home Central, my free subscribe YouTube channel where you can get all past 930 shows. We are in my 574 consecutive weeks. And it is, drum roll please, my 11-year anniversary for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I have my wonderful, fabulous co-host from Friday, Elan Carter, who I met a year ago. It's coming up on a year. We're going to have our 1-year anniversary in June. Who has become her family is my family, friend's family, and I'm just so delighted. She's my co-host on Friday, and she came to help celebrate my 11 years. So thanks for joining me, Elan.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Of course. And we are, we just went through some of the, significant moments for the show. And for those of you who haven't heard the story of how this all started, I did not, sometimes I ask my guests, did you have an idea when you were a kid that this would be something that you were going to be doing? And probably 8 out of 10 would say no, like no clue. And 2 out of 10 actually would say yes. This is, it was always in my mind. But for me, I'm one of the majority, one of those 8 out of 10. And I'll never forget, it was sometime in January of 2012. I was awoken at 4:30 in the morning by a voice that said, radio. It just said radio. And I went, radio. And I'm like, I don't think I'm doing TV specials. Radio is not something I ever thought I would be doing. And the voice was very insistent, radio. And I said, can we talk about this later? It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm tired. Radio. Fine. Get up. I went to the computer. I started writing, and it just flowed through me. The name of the show, Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, which almost everyone thinks is clever and funny. And then there'll be 2% of the population who go, I don't get it. Okay. I go with the 98 on that one. And then I wrote the topics. I wanted it to be about hope and happiness. I wanted it to be positive. And when I first presented the idea, people were like, oh, that's not going to last. You got to have some kind of shock talk. You got to have some kind of angry talk. You got to have some kind of political whatever. You got to have some kind of, scandal about what's going on and who's doing who. And I said, no, I don't want to. There's enough out there that's doing that. I absolutely don't want to do that. And they said, okay, your funeral. I literally had people, I'll bet you won't last a year. And I'm so glad. No names. I'm not going to point them out, but I am so grateful. We are on 11-year anniversary today. So boo-hoo to you.
Well, that makes me think about when you said you started in 2012. So around that time, around 2013, 14, I was working on a reality show. I'm going to say the name. It's called Malibeauties. And, we had several people that were interested in some really prominent girls that were on the show. And the girl that was doing it was someone that I kind of worked with modeling. And she asked me, she's like, I need an ethnic girl. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So I got on the show. Actually, it was so much fun. We filmed so much stuff. But she did not want it. That's when the housewives shows first started coming along, right? And she did not want it to be negative. She didn't want it to be fighting. At that time, I was going through my breast cancer battle, and she wanted me to share that on the show. I wasn't ready at that time, but I was kind of coming around because I was going through it. But anyway, she wanted to show exactly what you're doing, and none of the networks, they all wanted it. And the minute she changed the narrative of the show, it didn't take off. And it was so disappointing because we had one of Mel Gibson's the Russian piano player girl. She was really well known. We had some pretty prominent people, and it could have really been phenomenal, but they wanted the formula. And you proved that formula doesn't necessarily work, because as much as when the housewives shows came out, nothing against them, but sometimes I like to watch it, but I have to take a back seat because I can't take all the negativity. I want something happier and more positive. And it goes back to why people like talking to you, why people like circling to you, because you're the light, right? Because we've had so much of it now that it's refreshing to have Dr. Marissa take my advice. It's refreshing to be able to tune into something because we've gone through so much in society in the last 10 years anyway, with the COVID and all that we need something that nourishes our soul. Right? Because we don't need any more of that. We need something positive. So your platform is right on time. You are the medicine of what we need right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I accept. And that's my mission. Happy 88 mission, right? 88 million people, more happy people in the next 8 years. So for sure. Thank you. My last appreciation is a compliment from Paulie. Remember, I asked him for a compliment because I was fishing for it for the bottom of the bud. And he said, "What's there not to like about you?"
Aww.
Isn't that the best compliment ever?
I knew I liked you when we had sushi. We had sushi in common. We're going. We need to go this weekend.
I've
if you come Sunday, I can do Sunday.
I've heard this before.
I know, but it's you know what? This is what I have to say. You have your children are adults. I still have a young kid in the house.
I know.
My kids are still really young, so it's a little harder for me because every time I want to make plans, they're like, "No, we have this to do."
Right. Well, you're also managing your son's career,
and his stuff pops up last minute.
Yeah. So I'm not complaining. I know. I'm just teasing you when
no, but I need some self-love of sushi, so we have to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just popping live on Instagram. I don't know if you can see me go live. I usually, good. People are saying, "Hi, Roy. I'm Roy. I'm celebrating 11 years on the air on camera today." So I thought I rarely do Instagram because it takes from there you are.
I see you. I'm looking now. On my phone.
Okay, I'm adding you as a moderator. I don't know if you that would be weird, there'll be 4 of us.
Can I get I need to learn how to do mine so I can go on live.
On live, yeah. So we are celebrating 11 years for this show. So anyways, going back to the story, I wrote the guest, the format, what the show was going to be about, hope and happiness, and then also the business plan and all of that. And I finished it. That was in January of 2012. And the next week, I had a meeting with Tony Sweet at Global Voice Network, and I was on the air. My first show was May 1st, 2012. And that was an eventful year because I also got a hip replaced, and I had foot surgery, and I had a gallbladder removed. So it was a really big year. 2012, I definitely remember. And then starting this show. This show is so amazingly has been, as much work as it is, I can't think of a better way to practice what I teach, because as I'm doing the show, I almost always feel better. No, there's not been one show, I'm trying to think, where I felt worse after I did the show than before the show. And especially now with the daily show, starting with taking a bite of the gratitude sandwich, it just forces me to practice what I teach. And I'm so grateful for that. That is, what a blessing. And let's see, most repeated guest was, until this last week, was Dawn Wells, and just a breath of peace and comfort to all those who miss her. Marianne from Gilligan's Island. One of the benefits of this show is I meet such cool people and become friends. And the list goes on and on and on. I would say a good 80% of every guest that I've had is a friend. Like, so, and they come back. Like Wednesday, who's coming back into my studio for his third visit is Dr. John Gray. So he's the mega best-selling author of Women Are From Mars, Men Are From Venus. No, Women Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars. And he's coming back into studio. He is hilarious. You have to come and tune in. He's the one that talks about, the reason why I'm not dating, he says, is because I lead with my testosterone.
Well, what's my excuse? When I was young, I had a lot of male testosterone. I was younger. I was dating.
And that's why those relationships didn't work. That's his theory.
Why. No, I am the first one to say that I thought like a dude. I acted like a dude. I had a dude mentality. So when women are like, "Oh, I'm so heartbroken," I'm like, "Get over it. Get a new one."
And
I read that book though. I mean, I was one of the first people when it first came out. I did read that book, and I was actually trying to preach that book. And then I'm like, you know what? It's not me, but it was great. It gave me a lot of highlights.
He's bringing his new book called Beyond Mars and Venus. So that is going to be such a great show. So anyways, that'll be his third visit. I've had multiple. Keiko Matsui has now tied Dawn Wells with 6 visits in studio. Anson Williams, Patsy from Happy Days, has been on 3 times. His great work around drowsy driving. I've had Corey Feldman on twice with his beautiful wife Courtney. He's Goonies, you remember Corey. Lots of great movies. I've had Dee Wallace, the mom from E.T., on 3 times, once with her daughter. So I've had so many incredible people. Just this last year, the Waltons were on, the daughter of Lucy and Desi Arnaz. So I have to give a thank you to Harlan Ball, who's one of my favorite publicists, who has thrown people in front of me all the time that are in classic Hollywood. So I love that, and I'm so fortunate. I accidentally, not accidentally, and Janine Roth, one of the things that I love about myself is that I have no fear. I'm not going to let someone say, "Oh, you need to find their publicist," or I'll just find a contact or email, and I'll just say, "You want to come on the show?" And as a result, I had Rick O'Berry, the guy, the dolphin activist from the Cove.
Yeah. Oh, I love the documentary of all that. Yeah.
He was on Oprah, and one of the best compliments I've ever gotten is from him and several other people who have said, "I've been on, big interviews, and I enjoyed yours the most." So that's a huge compliment to me, and I accept that. And what's interesting is people always say, "When do you want to do a pre-interview?" And I'll say, never. because I learned that during the show is that the worst thing is to have a pre-interview and all that freshness and all the, oh, wow, I didn't know that. All that is lost because you can't reproduce it. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful. This has been a great show to kind of go through everything and all the memories that you share and everything that's dear to your heart. You know, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, so you can continue on for 11 more years and 11 more years and 11 more years. Tell Sam we miss him because we need him to start the.
Oh, I know. I don't know what happened. We'll get into
conversations and Sam will get us into trouble.
Yeah, he was the first one to jump on board and say, I would love to do that, but maybe I should have. Well, yeah. Well,
I didn't get sleep last night.
This is embarrassing. I even called his mom.
He's like, Sam, sleep.
So something must, hopefully he's not in, this is where the MSU University making shiitake up. Hopefully he's not in a hospital somewhere. I think he's going to have a lot to talk about on Thursday.
Yes. If I'm up, sure. I'll pop in.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to think of is there a topic that I have not covered, and if I ever get an intern, what I would want them to do is go through all 930 shows and list the variety. You know, I think about Chris Wark and talking about how to overcome cancer with diet. I think that was a huge show. Greg O'Brien was incredible. He had early onset Alzheimer's. That was such an incredibly meaningful show when he was, describing what it's like. He's a Pulitzer-winning prize, I believe, journalist. So that was really cool. Frederick from Rwanda genocide had his arms cut off by the rebels. I had, just like the breadth, not just Hollywood, which is great, name brand people, but
everything. You want to talk about everything because it's stuff that we all want to hear about. That's why it's called Tempting Conversations, right?
Yeah.
But I would love to do a show based on like how to heal your body because, your medicine is what you eat. And I'm learning that too. I'm not always very disciplined. I cheat quite a bit. My kids went to In-N-Out Burger last night. I wanted one so bad. I just smelled it. And I was like, once in a while I'll break down. But, healing our bodies is eating our medicine. And I think that we can get a topic on that about helping a lot
for sure. It's all about balance. Like last night I was at my bonus mom and dad's because they just celebrated 73 year wedding anniversary. And he got out from the hospital just in time. And my other sister brought raspberry and cherry pie. I had brought the day before that chantilly cake from Whole Foods. So, I was so bad yesterday, which is why
That's okay. You went to the gym this morning. I haven't. My guy's on the road, so it's been a couple of days.
Yeah. Well, it is. Guess what? Last minute.
I know.
So final word.
You get the final word. This is your show.
Gratitude, appreciation, joy feeds my addiction to joy. I love my life. That's my final word, and I'm sticking to it. This has been take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, celebrating 11 years, 574 consecutive weeks, 930 show podcasts with my wonderful co-host on Fridays. You'll have to make sure you come back on Friday. Tomorrow is Step Up Into Your Best Life with Beth Linder-Moss. And don't miss Dr. John Gray on Wednesday. I promise you'll be laughing your patooties off. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. Bye. See you.